Hi, my name is Julie Q. I'm a variety streamer over on Twitch with a lot of opinions about a lot of different subjects, and today I want to discuss Vivziepop's latest release, Hazbin Hotel, and why we as viewers just didn't get enough from it. So I want to preface this by saying I am a huge fan of the show and of Vivziepop's other show set in the same setting, Hell of a Boss. Heck, I wouldn't be drawing fan art of these characters if I didn't like the show they came from. But that being said, I was really disappointed by one thing and one thing in particular, and that was the fact that there were only 8 episodes in season 1. Now this might sound like a small aspect, but really it's a huge one because it forced the show to be restrained. For example, the plot was incredibly ambitious. 3 main plot points were happening at once. Charlie attempting to rehabilitate sinners, and if that's even possible, the actual extermination day, and the mystery surrounding Alistair. Now did we get a resolution to some of this by the end? Yes. We know Serpentius is redeemed, but does the rest of the cast aside from Emily and Sarah know that? No. I'm also theorizing here, but I'd be very curious if Serpentius loses his memory now that he is in heaven, or if Adam will come back but as a citizen of hell. But those are questions for a separate video. Back to the point at hand, including so many plots that I would consider to be the main plots of the show is a lot on any television show, let alone one that only had 8 episodes released so far. So we're already seeing that quite a few things are being crammed into a small box to fit what the TV studio allows. Now, why is it that this show was only 8 episodes? Remember back in the day how most shows consisted of 20 plus episodes in season 1 alone? What happened to that? Well, according to an article on ScreenRant.com, this is at least somewhat related to it being a less risky venture for networks. To quote the article, previously a TV show could flop and have 15 episodes still to run, forcing the network to either cancel it midway or cut losses. So we can conclude that this is at least some part of the reason for season 1 of Hazbin Hotel being the length that it was. The article also stated that shorter seasons make it so that the streaming platforms can encourage a quicker and easier binge of shows, which, in my opinion, does make it smoother and easier to dedicate time from one show to the next. As someone who will probably never watch Naruto or One Piece just because of how long the shows have gone on for, it makes sense why TV is turning to that particular kind of thought process. But it definitely was a downside for this show. There were so many strong characters, both main and side, that it was unfortunate that we didn't get to understand them to the depth that more episodes would have allowed us to do. I'm aware that this show has been being planned years in advance, and while I don't know too much about the history of it, although if you would like to tell me about it, feel free to comment, because I would love to understand it. I do recognize that even the more insignificant characters had a lot of planning and thought put into them, yet they only got the most minuscule amount of screen time. This show, the animators, and the voice actors did an amazing job using nuanced writing and expressions in order to make us, as the viewer, understand and empathize with the characters more. However, I would have loved to see the characters get more screen time so that they had the ability to really express themselves in more blatant displays. For instance, in episode 6, when Emily and Charlie sing the incredibly powerful reprise to Hell is Forever, we as the viewer can feel the power coming off of the animation, the music, the voices. But wouldn't it have been amazing to see an episode, or even just some scenes between Charlie's entering heaven to now this moment where her and Emily have found so many parallels? It would have made this already powerful moment all the more impactful to the viewer. And the relationship of Emily and Charlie is just one example of many where the time restraints hindered the show and its characters. Another instance of this could be Mimsy's appearance in episode 5, where it felt like her only purpose was to describe Alistair's backstory. I would have personally loved to know more about her as a character. I would have loved to see her and Alistair interact with each other more. Yet, all she does is detract from Alistair and Lucifer's hatred for each other, explain that Alistair isn't that bad of a person, and that's about it. Now, could these lack of development issues be remedied with season 2? Maybe. I think that it really is going to depend on when and how the show stops down the line. I've seen plenty of great shows forced to rush to a finale that they didn't deserve. One example that I'm very passionate about being The Owl House. And if that ends up being the fate for Hazbin Hotel, I and other fans are going to be deeply disappointed to no fault of the show's creators. However, if this did happen, I do wonder if they would consider making a spin-off or continuing the story on a different platform. part of the reason I enjoy Hell of a Boss so much is that it's had the time and care put into it that Hazbin Hotel has, but without the same type of time restraints. But would Hazbin even be able to make a spin-off or continue the story from a legal standpoint on maybe the Vivziepop YouTube channel or other streaming service if in the future it does get a too early cancellation? All in all, I really enjoyed Hazbin Hotel. The music, the animation, the story, everything. But it is really disappointing that we couldn't get more time with Season 1. While I am so impressed at how far Vivziepop and Spindlehorse have come, and let that fact not be forgotten, it is a shame that their creativity now has to be confined to the rules of a mainstream network. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe as it helps the channel out a bunch. Let me know how you felt about Hazbin Hotel down in the comments. If you have any suggestions for what other things you might want to hear me rant about, let me know too. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, fantastic rest of your night, and until next time, bye-bye!